A night, when the sun goes down, you'll reach for a switch. Light will flood the room instantly, and you won't think twice about it. But for almost all of human history, that switch didn't exist. When darkness came, it was nearly absolute. You often couldn't see your own hand inches from your face. Modern people have rarely experienced true darkness. Yet for over 300,000 years, every one of your ancestors spent roughly half their lives in it. No electric lights. No candles for most of that time. Only the stars, the moon, and whatever fire they could keep alive. So what did humans actually do during all those dark hours? The answer changes how we think about sleep, storytelling, and human nature itself. It begins with fire. The earliest strong evidence of controlled fire comes from Wonderwork Cave in South Africa around 1 million years ago. And fire wasn't just warmth. It completely changed the human day. Before fire, our ancestors behaved like other primates. Sunset meant stopping. You found shelter and stayed still until morning. Moving at night meant risking death. Human vision is terrible in darkness compared to predators like hyenas, leopards, and wolves. Fire changed everything. A campfire created a small protected zone predators usually avoided. Step outside that circle, and you were vulnerable again. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherers still find that people face far greater danger if they wander away from fire at night. But fire offered more than protection. It gave humans extra time. Before fire, useful activity mostly ended at sunset. Fire added several waking hours to every day, and across thousands of generations, those hours reshaped humanity itself. In 2014, anthropologist Polly Wiesner published research after studying conversations among the Jew Hoansi Bushmen of the Kalahari, one of the last societies still living close to humanity's ancient lifestyle. She found something remarkable. During daylight, most conversations were practical hunting, food, tools, planning. Daytime talk focused on survival. But at night, around the fire, everything changed. Most conversations became stories, myths, jokes, tales about distant places, spirits, ancestors, and adventures. Wiesner argued that fireside conversation became the birthplace of human culture. The campfire was humanity's first theater, first classroom, and first place of worship. Humans learned to imagine worlds beyond immediate survival. This may have been where we became truly human. But the night held something else too, something modern science only rediscovered recently. You were not designed to sleep the way you do today. In 2001, historian Roger Eckerch published research after examining hundreds of historical documents, diaries, court records, medical texts, letters, even ancient literature. Again and again, the same pattern appeared. People spoke about first sleep and second sleep. Before industrialization, humans commonly slept in two separate phases. They would sleep for about 4 hours after dusk, wake for 1 or 2 hours in the middle of the night, then return to sleep until dawn. This wasn't considered insomnia. It was normal. So what did people do during those midnight hours? Quite a lot. Some prayed. Some visited neighbors. Some reflected on dreams while they were still vivid. A 16th century physician even claimed the period between first and second sleep was the best time for couples to conceive children. Many simply lay quietly thinking. A medical text from the 1500s described this period called the watch as the ideal time for reflection because the world was silent and the mind unusually calm. For centuries, historians misunderstood these references because modern people assumed uninterrupted sleep had always been normal. Translators even altered older texts to fit modern expectations. Then science confirmed the old pattern. In the 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas Wehr conducted an experiment at the National Institute of Mental Health. Volunteers were exposed to long periods of darkness each night without artificial light, similar to pre-industrial conditions. Within weeks, nearly all of them naturally shifted into the same rhythm described in historical records. 4 hours of sleep, a quiet period of wakefulness, then another 4 hours of sleep. Nobody instructed them to do this. Their bodies simply returned to an older pattern. But Ware discovered something even stranger. During those midnight waking hours, Participants entered a deeply calm mental state. Their brains produced elevated levels of prolactin, a hormone associated with relaxation and meditation-like states. People described feeling peaceful, reflective, almost dreamlike. This wasn't ordinary wakefulness. It was a distinct state of consciousness, one most modern humans rarely experience. So what destroyed it? Light. Beginning in the 1600s, cities started installing street lighting. Paris led the way under Louis XIV, largely to reduce crime. London followed soon after. For the first time in history, night slowly became navigable. Then, candles became cheaper. Gas lamps spread through the 1800s. And after Edison's electric bulb became practical in 1879, darkness itself began disappearing from human life. Within only a few generations, humanity abandoned the nights it had known for hundreds of thousands of years. Even the word curfew reveals how central darkness once was. It comes from the French couvre-feu, cover fire. In medieval towns, evening bells signaled households to cover or extinguish fires for the night. Darkness wasn't unusual. It was expected. Night was dangerous. In many medieval cities, walking outside after dark without a light source could be illegal. Darkness belonged to criminals, predators, and forces people barely understood. Today, we barely encounter it at all. And that transformation came with consequences. The average modern person now spends many hours exposed to artificial light after sunset. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, the hormone regulating sleep. Your brain cannot fully distinguish electric light from daylight. Bright light at midnight tells your nervous system that the sun is still up. As a result, melatonin release gets delayed, sleep becomes fragmented, and circadian rhythms drift away from the patterns humans evolved with over millions of years. Research shows that even 1 week of camping without artificial light can shift melatonin cycles dramatically. The body quickly begins syncing itself to natural sunset again. Ancient biology returns faster than we expect. And maybe we lost more than healthy sleep. We may have erased an entire form of human experience. That quiet state between first and second sleep, peaceful, reflective, deeply calm, has almost vanished from modern life. In its place, people wake at 2 in the morning, panic, check their phones, and assume something is wrong with them. But what if it isn't wrong? What if waking briefly in the night is not a malfunction, but a memory? For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived by rhythms modern civilization barely remembers. They gathered around fires and created the stories that eventually became religion, myth, and culture. They slept in 2 phases. They spent their nights beneath skies so dark that the Milky Way was not a rare destination, it was simply the sky. And in the silent hours between first and second sleep, they lay awake beside fading firelight, thinking about their dreams, their fears, and the coming dawn. We traded all of that for a light switch. And most of us never realized what disappeared.